Hello class, and welcome to History 302, History of Great Leaders. My name is Frank Brazel, and I'll be your instructor for this course. Typically, students who take this course are Bachelor of Arts in Christian Leadership students or upperclassmen from other programs who decided to take this course as an elective. No matter how you arrived here, I'm glad to have you. We have to start by addressing the elephant in the room. Why should we study great leaders? The bottom line is this. It's because everyone needs to study leadership. Historical and biblical leaders offer us great case studies on how leadership decisions worked out over time. Have you ever heard the expression, hindsight is 20/20? The study of historical and biblical leaders allows us to look at what real flesh and blood leaders did when they were confronted with leadership dilemmas, and how to apply their successes and failures to our own leadership journey. Of course, we can do the same thing with large empirical studies, analyzing mountains of data to come to a reliable conclusion regarding leadership. Professional leadership scholars do this type of research regularly, and we're indebted to them. However, most of us don't have time to perform a full-scale research study. Instead, we can rely on case studies, examples of past historical and biblical leaders, in order to help us draw informed conclusions about how to lead more effectively. At the end of the day, that's what this class is really about, learning to lead better. We're just applying a radically different method in order to get there. These leadership case studies have a few key components in order to actually be valuable to us. It's all too easy for us to draw conclusions about leaders based on our feelings, but that doesn't mean that such conclusions are accurate. Therefore, there's got to be a degree of systemization in the way we study leaders. First, our methods need to be sound historiographically. Historiography is the study of historical writing. Therefore, we have to submit ourselves to historical methodologies and to existing bodies of writings about a given person or topic. Second, our studies need to be sound hermeneutically. When we study biblical leaders, we can't make up our own narrative. Instead, we should rely on the same principles of hermeneutics that we utilize for personal Bible study. Finally, we have to rely on existing leadership models. The danger in studying historical and biblical leaders is that we might be tempted to base a leadership model upon what worked or didn't work for one given leader. Leadership models are truly effective when they offer a universal solution to leadership dilemmas, and we only get there through data-driven testing and conclusions. Can you imagine if we did a leadership study of George Washington and then applied a set of principles from that study to every leadership situation? It wouldn't work. Studying historical and biblical leaders allows us to deal with the specifics, but shouldn't be the way we make our generalizations. Therefore, all of our studies should be conducted through the lens of existing models of leadership, like transformational or servant leadership. But what are historical and biblical leaders? Historical and biblical leaders are very specific sets of people. All biblical leaders are historical leaders. Not all historical leaders are biblical leaders. Did you catch that? Leaders who are still living don't fall into either of these categories, but are considered contemporary leaders. Historical and biblical leaders can include both good and bad leaders. Just because a historical or biblical leader made mistakes doesn't mean we can't learn from them. Look at King Saul. Was he a good biblical leader? Maybe sometimes. However, even in his mistakes, we can learn how to lead better. Sounds pretty intuitive, right? Do the good things that good leaders did, and don't do the bad things the bad leaders did. But there's so much more to it than that. Over the next 8 weeks, we'll discover how to really dive deep into studying historical and biblical leaders. And over that time, you'll learn how to apply their lessons to your own life.